Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. It's Saturday, it's Catterday, it's Catterday day. And it looks like Catterday has chosen to be a day for fighting, interestingly enough. So let me put RJ down. He's looking like he's about to fight me. So I've had actually a pretty long day. I got up super early this morning, like 3 in the morning to get some stuff done and then got the laundry done. And then I took a nap for a while because, been up since 3. And before I went to bed, I made a simple tweet, right? Because somebody was sharing images of Laura Kinney, X-23, as Wolverine, right? Dressed in his uniform and all that, which is a change that was made in Marvel's comics several years ago, around 2016, 2017, the all-new, all-different line, which didn't do well, by the way. Right, that was a period where they were trying to get all of their female uh, female, I would say, spin-off characters that were spin-offs from popular male characters, like Laura Kinney being X-23, right, being the opposite sex clone of Wolverine. She-Hulk, having gotten her powers from Hulk and everything, so they tried, who was it, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and all that other stuff. They tried to have, and especially like Captain Marvel, they tried to have the female, I guess you could say, the female sort of spin-off or derivative characters tried to overshadow their male originals. This did not work, right? Now, all these characters I mentioned are legacy characters, right? As is, for example, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, who is the one who took on the Miss Marvel name when Carol Danvers gave it up and took on Captain Marvel. Thanks, Kelly Sue DeConnick. You're the one who started this downward spiral for Carol Danvers. Now, anybody who's followed my comic videos for a long time knows that I'm generally not the biggest fan of passing the mantle around, because the way comics does it these days is that it goes from the mantle going from, like, teacher to student, or from father to son or mother to daughter or anything, to now simply choosing usually a female character who was the, in a sense, legacy of a male character, and then giving her that male character's name, his mantle, his look, and trying to use her to overshadow him instead of allowing her to be connected to him still, right? But still being her own person, having her own adventures. So the way Marvel and DC, but more Marvel, because that's what I have much more knowledge and familiarity on. They've been doing this, in my opinion, with the intent to overshadow the original and much more beloved male counterparts. I'll give you a perfect example. Around that time, 2016, 2017, there was a Hulk comic out. There was a comic called Hulk. Just one problem: it didn't star Bruce Banner, because in the comics, Bruce Banner was still dead because of the events of Civil War II. The Hulk in that series, and again, it was just called Hulk. The Hulk in that series was actually Jen Walters, She-Hulk. But it wasn't, the beautiful John Byrne era, She-Hulk, right? It was the current She-Hulk that we see. And interestingly enough, that was written at the time by Mariko Tamaki, who is, of course, now of I Am Not Starfire infamy, right? So to be clear, I'm not against legacy characters. I've been reading comics off and on all my life. I'm very aware of legacy characters. What I want for legacy characters is to, in time, become more than just a legacy and more than just a cosplay of the hero that they are the legacy of. But, right, here's the thing. So I tweet this out, not thinking it's going to gain any traction. I go to sleep because, been up since 3 in the morning. And boy, howdy. I woke up and, I guess without knowing it, I had chose violence, because now I got all these people retweeting me, clapping back at me, usually insulting me, not actually arguing against what I'm saying, right? So I just wanted to cover some of these, and right, and I honestly think that these tweets are the difference between, say, someone like myself, who's a classic fan, and people who are, say, brought in by the newer product, or probably more casuals, right? They're okay with the idea of a female character who happens to be connected to a male character literally losing her own distinct identity, whereas I am not. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these, right? So let's see here. This was a response of mine, but let's take a look at some of the tweets, right? So this person here, this lovely person simply tells me to shut up after I distinctly said to never tell me to shut up. Honey, I'm a New Yorker, and here's the thing, I'm one of those old school New Yorkers. I don't take orders very well. So the more you tell me to shut up, the more I will speak. The more I will scream, the more I will shout, especially after everything I've been through this freaking week. Yeah, I'm kind of in the mood to scream and shout. So, you don't tell a New Yorker to shut up. We just get louder. So there's that. It's still going? Okay, it is going. Sorry. So there's that, right? So let's see here. Uh, Me deciding not to waste my time trying to educate you, bro. Trying to educate you, bro. Look, I know, unisex name, fairly deep voice, short haircut, I get it, but I swear to you, I'm a woman. More importantly, bro, since you're gonna talk like Vince Russo, bro, right? More importantly, I actually know the comics. I have read many of them. And the ones I haven't read, I have done great research on. See, you don't want to waste your time educating me because I already have the knowledge. I have the education. You know what I say is right. But because you are a salty brat, interestingly enough, with a picture of Jubilee, who is indeed one of the many characters who are part of Logan's legacy. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Logan trained Kitty Pryde. That was his first daughter figure. Then he trained Jubilee. Yet neither one of them ever felt the need to give up their own names and their own hero mantles, right? Shadowcat Kitty Pryde being Shadowcat, right? First it was like Sprite or something, and then later on, as she became an adult, it became Shadowcat, right? But she was trained by Logan. She still kept her own name, her own stories, right? Jubilee, right? Of course, her hero name is more just a nickname because her full name is Jubilation Lee, so Jubilee, right? But it also relates to her, at times her chipper character and her sarcasm and her, sparkle, well, not sparkle, but like, supposed to be like fireworks type powers, which is actually tying back to the fact that she's Chinese. But anyway, I'm mad. I'm not gonna act like I'm not mad. So yeah, there's gonna be shouting here. Watch your ears, right? But you can't educate me because see, in this case, I'd be the teacher. You'd be the dummy student who doesn't want to hear what the teacher has to say because you don't agree with the history that was written long before you and I existed. Remember, Chris Claremont, well, the X-Men itself started in like the mid-60s, I think, like 1965, 1967, one of them. Chris Claremont, who would change the trajectory of the books and the characters forever, wouldn't come on until 1975, which is when you had the original All New, All Different, which features characters like Banshee, Thunderbird, and Wolverine! And then somebody wants to tweet me this panel of Wolverine acknowledging Laura as Wolverine, as if this is somehow supposed to change my opinion on it. Okay. So this other person says here, unfortunately, that doesn't affect anything. Laura is still Wolverine, and you still have nothing to stand on being mad about it. You're not liking it doesn't change the fact that she's Wolverine. Correct. I can't change the decisions, but it doesn't mean that I have to agree with them. Doesn't mean that I can't speak out on them, right? As I said, which is what they're quote tweeting, right? I said when they first brought this up to me, I said you wrongly assumed that I have to agree with creative decisions made by the writers, right? And yeah, I can't change anything, but I can talk about it. And I'm far from the first or last fan of Laura. I like both. That's the crazy thing. I like Laura. I like Laura's X-23. I like Laura when she has her own stories under her own name. Same way I was a big fan of Carol Danvers when she was Miss Marvel. Always part of the legacy of the original Captain Marvel, who was a man, right? But still had her own stories, right? Her own adventures. But now, as we've seen, they've taken her to be Captain Marvel, right? Although, to be fair, that's a bit of a different case because Marvel has to use the Captain Marvel mantle every so often, right? But still, I like for these characters like Laura or Carol Danvers or She-Hulk or others, yes, to still be connected to their male brethren, of course. I'm not saying you should cut that cord. I'm saying that you should let them grow, right? It's like with children, right? Parents who have a healthy relationship with their kids and love their kids understand that there's going to come a point where their child leaves the nest, right? Where their child establishes an identity connected to, yet separate from them. Now, could that child in many ways follow in their parents' footsteps? Sure. Many kids follow in their children's professions. Pro wrestling is a great example of this, right? But you have kids who either uh, create their own names and their own legacies. I'll give you an example. Dustin Rhodes, right? Dustin Rhodes is the son of Dusty Rhodes, right? Legendary pro wrestler, right? But Dustin Rhodes eventually made his own name and his own character, most famously as Goldust, which was a very sexually provocative, sexually ambiguous character, right? He learned after a certain point to not rely on his father's name and be his own man with his own gimmick, his own character, which then later was copied by his younger half brother, Cody, when they did Stardust. But even Cody eventually abandoned that, and he started AEW wrestling, being his own man, right? What I want is for legacy characters to kind of be like that, be more like Dustin, be their own person, not be like, say, Charlotte Flair, whose whole visual and gimmick is basically, I am Ric Flair's daughter, and that's all I'll ever be. See, I want different. I want better. I want growth. I want more. Right? I want for these characters to be like The Rock, right? Who is the son of wrestling royalty too, right? His granddad on his mom's side is Chief Peter Maivia. His father was Soul Man Rocky Johnson, right? So he had wrestling on both sides. He grew up in the business. One of the first third generation stars of the modern age, of the 80s and 90s, but became his own man, right? Became his own man. Eventually dropped the ring name of Rocky Johnson, which was a nod to his wrestling heritage. It simply became The Rock, and then The Rock went on to become a movie star. Or Randy Orton, right? He's the son of Bob Orton, right? But Randy has his own name now, his own legacy. He's not just Bob Orton's kid anymore. And that's what I want for these legacy characters. Many of them, like Laura, like She-Hulk, had that. And then it was taken away from them because of this ultimately futile push to have them step into these character roles, right? That were already established by men and basically try to erase the male characters, right? We're literally going to make She-Hulk the Hulk. People aren't happy with that. People aren't buying the books. We're going to take Laura Kinney and make her Wolverine, even though a huge part of her arc was actually to be more than just Wolverine's opposite sex clone, as as Fenrir, the Ice Wolf pointed out in one of these tweets, right? And even Logan himself at one point said that he didn't want her to lead the life that he had, one of, pain and blood and violence, right? But no, let's just throw her in his uniform, give her all of, the classic, Logan poses like this, right? Or Rah! Right, all that type of stuff. Let's give her everything that screams James Howlett and hope people don't notice. And you wonder why someone like me gets upset. Right, and then let's see here. And then of course again this Jubilee wannabe trying to be salty here, right? So I had said in a previous tweet, I think it was to this wannabe Jubilee here, that you disagree with me, so you try to shame me. So Boz comes in saying his legacy is Laura. He gave her the mantle; it's hers. It's not that hard to accept. She is Wolverine. Logan, I guess the person means let her have that title with his blessing. You directly deny this. Are you dumb or just nitpicking? No, I'm not dumb and I'm not nitpicking. I'm disagreeing. You see, if you know anything about me, I tend to disagree with what I believe are very stupid decisions. Right? And as you can see, the tweet that they retweeted and that they're responding to from me was where I literally said, Logan has successors. He trained Kitty, Jubilee, Laura. He has a male legacy in Dakin. I want for Laura to be her own person while still being part of Logan's legacy. Right? That's all I want. That's literally all I want. And yet, I am told that because Logan blessed it, keep in mind, none of these characters are real. None of their decisions are their own, right? This is done by writers, right? So because I disagree with a creative decision, I have to be dumb or just nitpicking. I can't have an actual reason for why I disagree with it. It can't be that it's a bad storytelling choice. It actually holds Laura back, right? Imagine if someone said, "Well, you know what? We're gonna have Harley Quinn totally give up her own identity, all the progress she's made as a character since she left Joker. We're gonna have her dump Poison Ivy and go running back to Joker, right? We're gonna have her murder Punchline, so she can get back into Joker's good graces and be nothing more than Joker's girlfriend, right? People wouldn't be happy with that, right? Because it would be taking away her agency. It would be putting her back in Joker's shadow. But when I argue that hey, let's not put Laura in Logan's shadow, I get called dumb and an idiot and nitpicking and all this other trash. All because I actually want better for female characters who also happen to be the legacy of male characters. I want what Carol Danvers once had for herself, which was to be connected to Marvel. Even her name was a connector, right? He was Captain Marvel, she was Miss Marvel. Her original uniform before she got the black one with the Thunderbolt. Thank you, Chris Claremont. Was even a nod to his, but she had her own stories, her own personality. But see, nobody that's responding to me and insulting me wants to talk about that. Because see, I actually freaking know comics. And all they know are their opinions, are their fifis that are offended by a woman's opinion. Right, so as Ice Wolf brings up, and thank you, Ice Wolf, X-23's whole story arc was trying to prove to herself that she was more than just Wolverine's clone. Exactly! It's like in Metal Gear, right? Snake proving to himself that he's more than just Big Boss's clone. Thank you. Like says, she was trying to prove to herself that she was more than just Wolverine's clone, so let's make her become Wolverine. That makes sense, dumbasses. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Thank you. And then this person who, interesting enough, calls himself Joker, but I think it's a different type of Joker, says Wolverine literally acknowledges her as Wolverine. And? Is that supposed to impress me? Clinton Barton acknowledges Kate Bishop as Hawkeye. That doesn't mean I agree with it. I think she should have her own name. Lady Hawkeye, Lady Hawk, or something. Let her be her own person. Instead of just literally cosplaying as him in a silly tight purple costume with hip holes for absolutely no reason and shades. Oh my, how dare I want more for female legacy characters? Oh my, I'm terrible. Right? So, imagine how boring you gotta be to want something to stay the same forever, not wanting your favorite to have a successor. I never said that. That's why I made the tweet about Kitty, Laura, Jubilee, and Dakin. He already has successors and legacies. Y'all just don't want to acknowledge it because you want his female opposite sex clone to literally be him as a chick more than she already is. You already had Dakin as Dark Wolverine, but at least that made sense because Dakin hates his father. So it makes sense that he would take on his name and his costume and try to make it look bad. But you don't want to actually think about why a person might object to this. You just want to shame them for it. And then you wonder why I get angry. Right? And then this one, yeah, you're an idiot. Ah, yes, I know. How dare I? How dare I have an opinion? Right? And then, she was a legacy character, just like Miles. Yeah, and I hope in time Miles gets his own name outside of Black Spider-Man. And speaking of Miles, nobody ever freaking talks about Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara. No one ever mentions him. He was the first biracial one, to my knowledge, at least. But no, Miles gets all the attention because, like Obama, right? Everybody acknowledges the fact that he's black, never acknowledges the other side of his ethnicity. Miles is black and Hispanic. He's mixed. But y'all always just want to freaking reduce his character to Black Spider-Man. Sorry about that. Ordered some food. Got a burger. Right, but then, right. So let's see. And this person going, "That's Wolverine, fam." No, it ain't, fam. She has her own identity. It's Laura. Agreed. I know that. No, she's not the next Wolverine, or at the very least, at this point, she should be beyond having to take a man's name and his entire damn look, right? And then, of course, the classic, "Shut up now, thanks." Hell no. She is literally Wolverine. Hell no, right? You know how Steve Austin used to say, "Give me a hell yeah." Well, I'm gonna give you a hell no. And more of this, right? No, she's literally Wolverine. No, she literally isn't. She's not 100+ years old, right? Who's the literal definition of man pain. So no, she ain't, right? She's family. That's true. She's the successor. That's true. But she's more than just a Wolvie cosplay, which is how the modern comics treat her, which is my contention. Maybe you should read. Right? Just words being put together, no actual sense. Do you understand the words coming through my tweet? And then, this person, before they started insulting me, asked me about Miles, and I responded, when it comes to Miles, that in time he should get his own name and his own character. What is so freaking wrong with wanting a person to grow and be more than just someone's freaking clone? Right? And then again, local Twitter user doesn't know what a legacy character is. Local Twitter user has actually read comics for a good chunk of her life, jackass. Right? And then, of course, this is going into something else, right? So let's see the 11 that have popped up since I have made this video here, right? So let's see here. So, alright, so this is from someone who follows me, M4C 4T4K79. And then it says, "For your consideration, our new captain." I can't, it's not loading, so I can't address it. I don't know if you mean Captain America or Captain Marvel or what. I guess I'll have to address it through Twitter properly, right? So those mantles, legends come and go. Let's not forget the ones underneath those masks and costume, the heart, the soul. Ah, okay, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? Flawed. Exactly. That's all I'm saying, right? Yeah, Falcon, right, or Sam Wilson, who was previously Falcon, right, is now Captain America. Okay, yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I think most of my audience understands this. If you ask somebody, especially a casual person who's only familiar with the MCU, who Captain America is, they're gonna say Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers will always be Captain America. Wolverine will always be James Howlett. That place in fans' hearts is already taken, right? That's never going to change. It's a literal fact of life, right? Clark Kent is Superman, Bruce Wayne is Batman, Wolverine is James Howlett, Captain America is Steve Rogers. Yes, you can move the mantle around, but in the end, you are not going to be able to take any other character and have them replace someone as iconic as Captain America in the hearts of comic readers and fans, right? Because they've tried it. Or take Iron Man, right? War Machine, right? Rhodey has been Iron Man before, but he's also principally known as War Machine because the comic fans and comic writers back then knew that he could never truly replace Tony Stark, nor should he. They allowed a black man to be connected to Tony Stark and use a Tony Stark uh, 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 suit, right? The Iron Man suit, right? War Machine and everything, or Iron Patriot, or whatever it's called in the films. But they still allowed him to be his own person under his own hero name, have his own stories for a time at least. Now he's just running around sniffing Carol Danvers in the current comics, being a little lapdog. Shows you what they think about black men, strong black men at least, at Marvel today, right? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, fine. Guess what? Falcon will eventually, because see here, right? It even says the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? The freaking title doesn't even acknowledge Falcon as Captain America, right? Or rather, I should say, doesn't acknowledge Sam Wilson as Captain America. It acknowledges him as Falcon, and the Winter Soldier is, of course, Bucky Barnes, who's also been Captain America, I think, for a time. But still, despite the fact that they both have been Captain America, the only character, even from the MC freaking U, who's actually acknowledged in promotional material as Captain America is Steve Evan Rogers. Even with this whole what is it what if thing that they're doing, right, where like Peggy Carter ends up the one with the super soldier serum. She's Captain Carter. She's the female Captain Britain, which is actually something that belongs to Betsy Braddock, but that's another story, right? But even Betsy, right? She's the sister of Captain Britain. She eventually became Psylocke, which was this weird fusion between her and an Asian ninja. Comics be weird, but at the very least, she was her own freaking person. You're an effing idiot. Aww. That's the nicest thing someone said, but I'm not really into dirty talk. So can we clean up the language, please? Right? These people, this is someone responding to me. These people ignore the fact that she has a code name, Talon, and didn't need to look like Wolverine. Yes, exactly. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Well, she's not a clone. She never was. Actually, yes, she was a clone for the longest. The whole change that she's actually Logan's biological daughter is fairly recent. If you actually read the comics, you would know that. Oh, and Grayson, yeah, because here's the thing: Dick Grayson stayed as Batman for a limited amount of time, and he still had his own name, right? He became more than just a Robin, more than a sidekick. He became Nightwing. He became his own guy. Same way Jason Todd eventually became Red Hood, and Tim, I'm suddenly bisexual because of reasons and bad writing. Drake eventually became Red Robin. That's the one thing DC does better. They actually allow the heroes to get their own names occasionally. No, them actually doing this, putting her in a cosplay is the downplay, right? That's what it is. Right, and then let's see, is there anything else? Okay, so I'm getting retweeted. Okay, yeah. So that's about it for that. At least at at the moment, right? Right. This is it at the moment. Lord knows that there is going to be a long fight. I'm kind of used to this at this point because the funny thing is that and anybody Fenrir, the Ice Wolf, or others who like regularly follow me on Twitter know I'll put out the most benign tweet and I will get dog piled. I got dog piled over Tila. I get dog piled over Melina by pointing out clear facts that people don't want to hear. So at this point, I'm more or less immune to it. People are going to insult me, and I'm going to be a sassy pants back because you know what? You done picked the wrong New Yorker to mess with. Because see, not only am I pissed off as hell, given everything that's been happening to me recently, I'm actually a smart, well-read reader, I should say. They wouldn't hire me as a writer to date a colored person who actually knows the comics and thinks for herself. Oh no, we can't have that, right? But I actually know the comics and their history fairly decently. I wouldn't put myself on the level of like an Eric July or an Ass, but I think I know a decent amount to be able to have a conversation, right? But as you can see through several of these tweets here, most of these people are not interested in having a conversation with me. They're interested in trying to insult me and shame me. Honey, I grew up in the ghetto. I've been called worse for much freaking less. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day and night wherever you are. Bye.